Hello everyone, I am Plankera, and today we're going to finish drawing Ines from Arknights. It's pretty much done. I was just doing my last check over that I always do to make sure I didn't miss something. And turns out I did in fact miss something. It's like I'm looking at the hair up here and I see that it goes all the way against the edge. And that's no good. It's like I have said that I don't care as much with this particular style if it goes right up against the edge, but that's only if the entire thing is showing, and here it's being cut off. So I need to clean that up a bit, just get it off the edge there. I am honestly not sure how I did that. Kind of amazing how easy it can be to miss things, so that's why it's important to really scrutinize the painting before you declare it done. Or at least I think so. So I'm just adjusting the shape of all this a little bit. Go in, smooth out the lumps, all that good stuff. I didn't like down here very much either, so... Oh, I have it locked. No wonder it's not doing anything. That would do it. Sometimes the ability to lock the transparent pixels can work against you if you're not paying attention. There we go. Just smooth out all these little lumps. But the good news is I didn't see much else. I'll still go through and take another look. But right now I think I'm pretty happy with how it's all turning out. I think with this it might be done. Just zoom in, look around, just to make sure. And there we go. That's much better. So I'm gonna zoom out and make sure there's nothing weird looking. So far, I'm pretty happy with it all. I think it's looking pretty good. So now I'll zoom into 100% and... yeah, I'm seeing a couple of just teeny tiny things. It's part of the glove, I believe. I just want to make this a little bit flatter on the side. And a little bit more in line with the one below it. There we go. It's a small thing, but... oh, and I never fixed the horns there. So you notice how on this side, I kind of rounded the edges a little bit. I never did that here. So let's do it real quick, right now. Just a tiny little detail, but I do think it makes them look a lot better. A little bit less sharp. A little bit more natural. Just a little bit nicer looking. Just a quick pass through here. It won't take too long at all. Long enough that I guess I can't stick quite through the whole thing, but it's okay. I do think it's looking a bit better already. I will keep the top part of it nice and pointy. Actually, I will take a look at her character reference. Oh yeah, those are some pointy horns, alright. Those are some pointy horns. So yes, I'll keep the top nice and pointy. I'll just round out the parts further down. Make these corners a little bit softer. There we go. And just back to taking a quick look around. I do think that all of it's pretty interesting, and I do like my little shadow shapes. They're a bit blobbier than I would normally do in a lot of areas, but I think that suits the texture of the shadow that I was going for. But they get to stay a bit blobby. Fine, sometimes the blobbiness works for me. It all depends on what I'm drawing. This, on the other hand, is not a good blob. I'm going to trim that. Over here's got a little blob that I'm not a fan of. Sometimes the changes made are pretty subtle, but in the end, I'm just getting to the picture to a state that I will be happy with, so I can take as long as I want. Fixate on the areas that matter to me. Didn't like that shape much, so I fixed it up. I do like all of these little shapes, though. They're very interesting, I think. Look at them all just bouncing around. And this is cool. Shows where the arm is. That's what this style is all about. Just subtle little nuances to let you see where everything is. Alright, I think that's where I will be leaving this one. So this picture is now finished. I do hope that you have enjoyed the process of watching me make this one. This one is a bit different from the last one I did. This one being more of a minimalist style, where the main thing that I like to do when I work with this style is just have everything kind of meld together, where you can't necessarily tell where one thing begins and one thing ends, and just make kind of interesting shapes out of it. Or you can kind of feel it, and it kind of has a mysterious energy to it. And I think that this particular one suited that style pretty well. You can definitely expect to see me do more pictures like this in the future. And I feel like we've barely gotten started today, so I guess I'll go ahead and get started on my next project. Which I think, yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of rigging. I'm gonna go turn this picture of Shalom from Path to Nowhere that I scaled up a little bit into a VTuber model. I picked her because her normal art just kind of has her forward facing. And it means that I have to do less work and getting it all to work out for me. So the first step to making a model like this would be to cut up the art. And that's going to be interesting because you can see, just looking at it, the style is very different from my own. So I definitely have my work cut out for me imitating that. And there's some things I'm going to have to clean up. Like, you can see that some of these strands of hair, and especially around the edges, is very pixelated. So I'm going to have to do some work there, and I'll have to see how much of this kind of noise texture I'm able to keep with all this, because I've never been good at making textures like that. So before I go in and start cutting up this, I was thinking about what kind of movement I want to do here, and I am not an experienced rigger. I've only done a few rigs, with my model here being my biggest one. And So I don't think I want to go too hard. I mean, even a fairly basic one is probably going to take me... Ooh, could take me a couple of months to actually be able to finish it. And having the same thing on stream for that long might be a bit rough. So I think I'm mostly going to focus on about the kind of waist up, as that's the area that, you know, when you're puppeteering the VTuber model, that's typically what you'll see. I'll probably do a little bit of movement in the lower half, but not nearly as much. And I don't think I'm going to do any foot movement. So knowing that, that'll help me determine how I want to cut this up. Because, in order to make a model like this, you have to get all of the various pieces on separate layers, so that this way you can move it around. I'll go ahead and start with some low-hanging fruit here to get me started. Just cut this off. So I don't think I'm going to do too much movement with this guy, but I do plan to do a little bit, so I'm going to cut him up a little bit. And I will be rigging this in Inochi 2D, not Live 2D. Inochi 2D is a free and open source alternative to Live 2D. So I prefer it, because I do not like subscription software. It makes me sad. So I'm thinking, I don't think I'm gonna do too much movement with her little thumb in here. Get that right there. But I do plan to do a little bit, so I'm gonna separate for that. And you can see that naming layers is very important here because there's going to be a lot of them. It's an inevitability with rigging. Just absolutely ridiculous amount of layers. I'll probably take a look through some sprites and stuff once I get to that point and figure out exactly how I want her to move here. Or Cheryl to move here. But for now, I'll just start cutting out the pieces that stand out to me. Looks like I don't have to do too much redrawing here just because, like I said, I don't plan to do too much movement. Well, it looks like I am going to have to do a little tiny bit. Let's see. I will actually leave it there for now. I do want to look up some references on how this moves in-game before I do any more, because like if it spins, I'm gonna have to separate these light areas. I'm gonna have to separate the front and back here, and probably do a whole bunch of drawing. But if it doesn't, then I can save myself a lot of work. Alright. So yes, I'll be making the model in Inochi 2D, a free and open source alternative to Live 2D, and it works similarly. There's some things that are different. But for the most part, you can cut the same way. And the kind of movements that I want to do are roughly the same. So I'm looking at her head here, deciding exactly how I want that to move. And naturally, I want the head to be able to turn like mine does, and up and down and all that. So just thinking about which parts I need to change here. Let's just grab her whole head for now. I'm just gonna cut it all out. And then I'll worry about separating it into more details after. Being very loose with my cut here. And then I need to figure out which part of this is side hair and which part of it is back. So this is... I'll just grab the whole thing for now. We'll, let's see here. So this is back. Does this... This goes like this, and this comes, yeah, through here. So I do think that this is also side, so this should be fine like this. If I change my mind later, I can fix that. Okay. For me, whenever I start cutting art for rigging, at first I always like to copy and paste rather than cut. Because then I can kind of keep the original picture intact and just delete it at the end. This way, if I mess up, I can grab a piece of the original and fix it. It makes it a bit easier. I'm trying to be very careful with the lines here. I may not need to because I think I might separate them onto another layer in order to make moving them around a bit easier, and also to make it so I can make parts of it disappear when the head is at certain angles. Like when it goes up, I can make the line under her chin go away and make the angle look a little bit more convincing that way. But for now, I'll keep it clean. This will probably help me later when I go to separate it anyway. You can see here that little lily on her necklace is overlapping part of the hair, so I'm going to have to redraw that. But for now, I'm just going to focus on very quickly getting rid of some of this extra stuff here. I figure out exactly how I want to break up these layers. Ooh, that's a really rough edge there. Definitely have to do a lot of work with that. Smooth that out and make that look nice. Honestly, I expect cutting this out will probably take as long, if not longer, as drawing something entirely new. But I kind of wanted to use her official art. I really like the art style in this game. I thought it'd be nice to try actually use it and make it move. Alright, we're getting there. Hair is one of those things that's really tricky to cut, so it's gonna be a bit time consuming. But it's kind of fun, because from right here I'm already going into an area where everything looks pretty alright. Don't have to go through that period where everything just looks really, really bad. I will when I have to rig it, but I'm spared for that for now. That's fine. And even then, when I'm rigging it and it looks kind of bad for a little while, it doesn't last as long as when I'm drawing and all that stuff. There's definitely a lot of little nuances in the hair here that I'm really gonna have to pay attention to. Separating this is gonna be definitely a little bit difficult. But I would like to get all this, all the head stuff up done fairly soon here. Or not soon, but all rendered out and looking nice before I get too far into much else. I should probably get my background colors in. I like to have a few when I do rigs because it's like if you've watched my past streams, you might see me caring about pixel dirt. Well, pixel dirt is way more of an issue when you rig. Because it's like, at least on a 2D picture that you're not animating, when you have pixel dirt, it's just there. If you don't notice it, it's not a problem. Like, it's only an issue if it's visible. But that's not really the case for rigging, because when you go to put meshes on each of your layers, if there's pixel dirt, it's gonna freak out, man. And it'll mess with your transforms and a bunch of other stuff, and it's just really annoying, so you really gotta make sure that there are no stray pixels anywhere. If there are, you're gonna have a bad time, man. Unfortunately, cutting is a bit of a slow process, especially when you do it right. But it'll all be worth it once I open this in Inochi 2D. And I can just make it move so nicely. It's like right now I'm just having the head on one layer, but by the time I'm done, this is probably going to be about 50. The hair is going to need several for physics, so I can move it right and have it sway in ways that are really nice. The eyes are going to need, oh gosh, probably, wouldn't be surprised if I was getting close to a dozen. It's like, you have one for the top lash, bottom lash, side lash. You have the eyeball, the pupil, the eye white. All of these things. Okay. I was just checking up against the original. Make sure that I'm cutting this all right. I want all the hair here. But nothing else. As you can see, this is still cut pretty messily. I'll go back and clean it up a little bit. I like to kind of do things in passes for the sake of my sanity. Right now I'm doing first pass, where I just try to get most of the background out. And then second pass is where I start really worrying about line thickness and stuff like that. Oh yeah, this is probably what I'm going to be doing for the next 2 weeks. I hope it'll be interesting to see the entire process that goes into making VTuber models. I'm using tools here that you could potentially use yourself. Like, I think the only thing that's, well, two things that aren't free is one, the computer I'm using, and two, the tablet I'm using. I don't think you necessarily need a drawing tablet to cut art like this, but it certainly helps. Computer you can't do much about though, but yeah, Krita is free, Inochi 2D is free, Inochi Session, the thing that you use to puppeteer Inochi 2D models, is also free. So if you wanted to give it a try, you certainly could. I will probably release just the Krita file alone. The Inochi 2D can import Krita files. Yeah, I don't have to convert it to a PSD. And that's nice. So this way you can take this art and maybe try making your own rig out of it. Like, as much as I do hope you enjoy watching me make stuff, doesn't trying it for yourself sound way more fun than just watching me? But first, I gotta get all the art out there. And to do that, I gotta get all this cut out. I'm not too worried though, the hair is like one of the hardest parts. The fact that I'm doing it first means that it's gonna get easier from here. It's gonna get easier from here. Fly buzzing around my head. Truly is summertime. This is why I always prefer winter. Everything's dead. There's less bugs. Because everything's dead. I just don't gotta worry about any of that. Fly is very interested in my microphone. It's a little bit distracting. I apologize if I'm swinging my head wildly here. Bugs coming out of nowhere, man. What am I supposed to do with that? Jump back over here because I feel like it. Sometimes working in one area for too long just makes me sad, so I go somewhere else. Process of cutting art like this is a little bit tedious. It's a bit easier for me when I'm drawing it, but since I just have this, you know, two-dimensional drawing, no layers, well, not much I can do. I just kind of gotta go in and get slice out all the various parts into different layers so I can move them around better. It'll all make sense once I start actually rigging. You'll see how much this prep work really pays off. Yeah, that's all hair. Just had to make sure. The hair color and the skin color get a little bit similar down there. So I wanted to make sure that it was hair that I was keeping, and not skin. I really do hope I can do this art justice. I really do love the art in that game. It's really very pretty. The character designs are super good. gonna start cleaning up the edges over here. Like I said, I'm gonna bounce around a bit. It's fine. It's fine. I have to do it all eventually, so I might as well do whatever part I happen to feel like doing in any given moment. Not sure if I feel like doing that right now. Because, oh boy, I'm not quite sure I'm gonna fix that yet. I'm gonna have to think about it. Okay, her driving me a little bit crazy, so let's cut out the head. Once again, I'm gonna grab the part that I want, and then I'm going to copy and paste, as opposed to cut and paste. And then you'll see where the true terror begins. Because what I'm doing here, yeah, it's not just the head. The eyes, and all the various things there. Every facial feature is probably gonna get its own layer. Nope, nope. There we go. As if I want them to be able to move around independently, well, I have to put them on new layers. And I have to separate the left side and the right side. Okay. Trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to cut some of this. Because this is tricky. So I apologize if I get a little bit quiet here and there. Let's see. I'll just grab the whole eye for now. And then from here... Yeah, I don't have the eyelid there, so this is just the eyelash. And some of this is a little bit hard to read. So let me grab this eyelash first. Well, you can see me being apprehensive. Okay. I'm gonna have to redraw parts of this. But for now, I will start with just cutting this part. So I think part of this is some eye makeup. So I just want this black part of her eyelash. And you can see it's still a little bit messy because I'm still kind of trying to figure out how all this is gonna work. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. I'll turn on the rest of her body here. I can try to figure out what's going on there. But it looks like she has fluffy eyelashes. These are some lower lashes, I think. And then I think the stuff beneath her eye is just like a little bit of eye makeup. This is an eyelid. So what is this? Is that just an eyelash? It's like the quality on this image is a little bit questionable, but it was the best one I could find. So I rolled with it. Because to me, this still just reads like eye makeup. Let's grab the eyeball here. Make sure everything is cut out there. I'm not going to worry about redrawing things yet. No, I'll grab the eye white. I can already tell there's going to be a lot I have to redraw here. Let's not worry about being neat. Okay. I'll cut that out. No, I just said I wasn't going to worry about redrawing, but I feel like I kind of have to here. I need to cut this out. It just will look weird otherwise. I can already tell that I'm going to have to do a ton of weird color picking. But it's alright, I'll figure it out. This is reasonable for now. Still not being super precise. I don't think I need to be just yet. I just kind of figure it out. Okay. And next, I think I'm gonna grab that lower lash. Really hard to see though, but I can kind of make out what it's doing a little bit. I'll just grab the whole bottom here. Okay, let's try to shape this to be kind of nice. Ooh, that's just barely visible. I'm definitely gonna have to really scrutinize how everything is laid out here. Yeah. Let's grab this top part here. Part that I'm pretty sure is makeup. I want it below the eyelashes. Okay, and I think that's everything that I want as a part of this. I still have some more cutting to do in that regard. But it's a start. And I'm only going to do one of the eyes. The other one I'm just going to mirror. It'll change the art a little bit, but I think it'll save me a lot of grief in the long run, so I'm just going to do it. So I'll grab the nose real quick. I'm not sure quite how I want to cut that yet, so I'm not going to. And I'll grab the mouth. Actually, I'm just going to grab the whole thing. Cut it. Right now, I'm just going to do 3 pieces. The upper lip, the lower lip, and then the shadow underneath. Wrong there. There you go. The mouth is at least a little bit more straightforward to cut. I'll go ahead and cut out all these pieces. I want the shadow to be on its own layer. And I'll probably soften it a little when the time comes, but for now this is fine. It's looking kind of spooky now with everything separated like this. It's kind of funny. Kind of suits the character though. To be fair, Shalom is pretty spooky. He's pretty spooky. Alright. Kinda have the basics cut here. Let's separate this upper lip. And by doing this, I'll be able to let her mouth, you know, open and close and all that so that the puppet can talk. There we go. And like I said, very, very important to name the layers here. Because if you don't, you're gonna have a real bad time when you start rigging. You're not gonna know where anything is, and you're gonna have so many layers, and it's gonna be suffering. Just absolute hell trying to navigate all those layers and move things around the way you want. I have to do a bunch of redrawing here, but that is okay. Call it that. And here I'm just going to casually erase everything except for this little part that I wanted to keep. There we go. And I'm not too worried if it's a little bit wrong. I never cut things right in my first try. It's fine. So this is where things get tricky. To finish off the head, what I have to do is go in and basically draw on top of the hair here. Ah, I didn't actually get rid of the eyelid yet. Okay, I should cut that. I definitely want this. And I'm not sure if you guys can see the names of my layers. But the way I'm cutting this, or in naming them, is I'm naming it from the character's perspective. So you can see since I'm doing this eye on this side, this is actually the left eye, not the right eye. I'm naming them with that convention, because that's a convention that is just common with rigging. So I'm using it too. Okay. So now I got that on. I'd just be able to go through and... God, how am I gonna do this? I don't know. I will figure it out. Oh yeah, I just need to go in and start clearing up the various parts of the head here. I do not know how I'm going to divide this yet. I think this should be within my abilities to do. It's just very, very hard. As you see, if I want the hair to be able to move around and, like, you know, sway back and forth, I need to have head underneath. Because, like, if I... Let me move this up here. But, like, if I have it as it is now and I wanted, like, say, this strand to move, and I just tried to do that here with nothing properly cut. See, I move it over and there's just this big ol' hole because there's nothing underneath. So that's why I need to draw a flat layer of head underneath here. I'm gonna have to figure out how all of this is shaded. Oof. That's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be very tricky. And I got rid of some of her eye makeup under there that I'm probably gonna want back. I think I might just draw it myself, though. I'm really gonna have to go in and study the shading for how this is today. So leave it there for now. I'll just start cutting out hair up here. Gonna hide all of these. Make it and start cutting out the hair again. But now that I have that head layer, I can also start cutting out the head here. I will want to separate her ears, though. This is a case I only intend to draw one of them, so which ear do I think looks better? I think this one does. So I'll take this one. Okay. Now I have that ear. I can just go back to casually cutting out hair. I took a break from cutting out hair, I cut out some other things. So I can get back to the hair now. Sometimes it's nice to have a little break like that. Cutting out an image like this is honestly a little bit painful. But I have done it before, I can do it again. I'm just a bit nervous about trying to match the style. I'll probably end up changing it a little bit. And that's alright. As long as it's recognizable, fairly close, it should be fine. Just trying to get some of these edges very, very clean. Really trying to differentiate between what is the hair, what is line, and what is just part of whatever the hair is on top of in the picture. I really just want to make sure that it's only the hair here. Only the hair. There's this little loop there, and I'm honestly kind of amazed at the texture in this hair. It looks way stringier when I'm trying to cut it like this than it does when I'm just looking at the art. Kind of funny how that works out. Art is so interesting. I don't study other people's art as much as I feel like I should sometimes. That's definitely hair. You can get so many ideas just by looking at what other people do. It's a shirt. See, that one was tricky. It was a bit hard to tell what was hair and what was shirt. I had to look really close. And that's part of why I like keeping the original layer. Yeah, this is shirt. Some parts of her hair are pretty white, and her shirt is white. They kind of blend together a little bit when I'm really trying to get in there and figure out what is what. It's definitely skin. Yeah, I think this is right. I think this is actually part of the hair, so just a little shadow spot. Shadow spots get a little bit gray and desaturated, which is kind of interesting. Is that hair or is that shirt? I think it's hair. So I'll leave it for now. And if I feel like I should change it later, I can. It's not a big deal. I was hoping to have most of the hair done, but at this rate I might not, just because, oh my god, there's so much of it. Why do anime characters have to have so much hair? Make it stop. I'm gonna have to think about where to put this, because it does look like it might be part of the back hair. I might be able to just cut through here. That's gonna be a decision. It's one of those things, it can be hard to tell exactly how you should cut out each individual layer. I'm just trying to think of which things are very much in front of her and which things are very much behind her. So this way when I start doing head turns and stuff, it'll just all click into place and I won't have to try that hard. Separating the layers is extremely important and will basically determine what you can do with the rig. Right now I'm basically determining the entire future of the project, and it's a little bit intimidating. This is the foundation that everything else will be built on. But it's alright, I can handle it. I just don't want to make too many big decisions while I'm a little bit tired. Okay. But I can start cleaning up some of these little areas. Using the airbrush here to keep this nice and blended. man. I really am gonna have to study how they use color. In fact, I should probably stop there. I think at this point it looks fine. Well, it might just be something I have to really study a little bit later, off stream. And I can just kind of stare and stuff. If I do any actual drawn experiments, I'll try to keep those on stream. Just so you guys can see how I go about figuring out how I should make this all look. It's like I don't do too much style imitation, but it is something that I have thought about in the past. Let's just say this isn't the first time I've tried to make a model out of official art. Well, no, I guess it's the first time I tried to make a model out of official art. The other time it was just an animated illustration. I didn't necessarily want to make a puppet that somebody's supposed to be controlling with their head. I just wanted to make an illustration move. It's a little bit different. I'm gonna try to clean up some of this. Oh boy, that looks really bad right now. Yeah, I think this is just going to be drawing. This looks simple enough to do for now, so I'll draw some up here. But I don't think I'm going to be necessarily erasing there, just drawing and getting those pixels to be less, I don't know, hard. A little bit of aliasing in there. Make things nice and smooth. It's important. And I probably made it a little bit too thick. Let's try again. There we go. That's a little better. This isn't looking so bad. And that side wasn't so bad to do. I'm not sure I'm going to handle some of these other parts, but I'll get there. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll cut here for now, since I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to put that yet. I get the feeling that this might end up going with the back here, though, so I may just end up cutting it out and moving it elsewhere, working on it later. Oh god. Yeah, that's just gonna have to be drawn again. I'm not sweating about it too much just because there's gonna be so much redrawing here, just because I have to draw what's underneath some of these areas. So this way I can move stuff around. Like I already know there's gonna be so many layers of hair. I'm going to cry. It'll all be worth it in the end. I have something really cool. Something cool that I made. These bangs are just so heavily feathered at the bottom here. Wow. The way they start blending into the skin a little. Like it's very intentional, but oh boy, does it make it hard to tell where I should be cutting. Okay, so I think it's like this. This is a strand. I'll be switching back and forth here a little bit. I think this is a strand. And this is a strand. And here. This goes up like this and then down like this. Yes, I think that is correct. So this should help me cut it all properly. I'm gonna have to redraw part of that, I think, but that's doable. Figuring out what is hair here and what is skin here is a little bit difficult. But man, I don't have a lot of experience doing this, so figuring out what kind of art's gonna be hard to cut and which kind of art is gonna be easy to cut is not something I can do at a glance yet. This is proving to be more of a challenge than I thought it would. Okay. And I have it maybe half cut, I think. But I think that's where I will leave it for today. So, thank you all for coming. I hope you will enjoy seeing me create a entire rig here, since so far I've only just drawn stuff. But in the meantime, if you'd like me to take a look at your own creative works, feel free to message me on Twitter or Instagram, or at me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. Oh, I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.